A poor performance from Manchester United, no doubt about it. A lack of clinical edge, a lack of finishing, and just it felt like a lack of desire to win today from everybody. The starting lineup wrong, the substitutions too late. But United do pick up a point. They maintain their unbeaten away record. And we know where the main focus is. The main focus is glaze it out. We know that. But it was a poor performance today. Leeds United, they do feel lots of talk across socials that they should have had a penalty in the first half. They seem quite happy with their performance. Defensively, Leeds United are getting better and better. A team that was so open and easy to break down and score against in the first half of the season, tightening up in the second. Hit that like and share button, people. Here we go. Yes, welcome back. Good afternoon. Leeds United 0, Manchester United 0. A disappointing end to the weekend for Premier League football in relation to the top six. Looking at the league table now, Man United on 67 points in second. Still pretty comfortable, really. A huge, I want to get the maths right here, a huge 11 points away from dropping out of the top four. And that's what Man United will be most focused on. I understand this midweek game on Thursday against Roma is going to be of the most importance to try and get through to the final of the European Cup, to try and get through and pass the hoodoo of the semi-finals for Ole. But in truth, it was a very poor display today. The lack of clinical edge is what stood out to me above and beyond everything else. It was just horrible. And there were chances today. There were chances to score. There were chances to put the ball in the back of the net. Namely, this opportunity here is the one that stood out to me very early on in the second half. You have Bruno and Dan James running through. Dan James is in possession, and then he lets go of it. Now, you could argue Bruno was in a better position, but he didn't have control of the ball. Dan James there, I felt really letting his side down. There's no doubt about it. There was also the opportunity for Bruno Fernandes. Moments later, should be hitting the target. When you look at this as a freeze frame, player of Bruno Fernandes' quality should be putting that ball at least on target for me. But of course, it went wide. And on top of that, Dan James, brilliant ball into him. His first touch then enabled, I think it was Alien, to make the tackle from behind, or Alioski, one of the two. I think it was Alioski, to make the tackle from behind. There were opportunities today for Manchester United. These three stand out to me as the best opportunities for Manchester United to score. But of course, another one of the major talking points today is very much down to, should Leeds United have had a penalty? I'm seeing Leeds fans everywhere talk about it, scream about it, and say it should have been one. And I want your views and I want your opinions on that. As football fans today, should this have been a penalty? Was it handball by Luke Shaw? We want to keep this on the football today. We want you to come on and have your say right now on the football terrace. I'm looking at the comments here, and you see a lot of people here saying never a pen, and then clear pen. And then you hear lol, no pen. It's interesting to see the differences of opinions. A few people here with sack Ole, get Ole out. We will get onto that a little bit later as well. If people want to talk about it, it's your show, essentially. You're the viewers. You're here to say what you think and you feel. We've got the panel waiting. We're going to get the panel on early today because, of course, it's a huge game today. It's the final to get to, which we're covering at full time as well. Do me a big favor and make sure you're hitting the like button. You're hitting the share button as well. Very important to the terrace that you get that done. We have a super chat here that says, nice to have footy back, even if it was dead. And it was a dead game today. Legitimately, one of the worst games of football I've seen all season. Poor, no desire to win. There were even times at the end where we could counter-attack and we slowed the play down and nobody looked like they really wanted it. Maybe that's going to be the approach for the rest of the season now. 11 points clear in second place. We'll take these games easy and put everything into these Europa League games. And you know what? Maybe at the end of the season, we'll say, okay, fair enough. But for me, just didn't feel good enough today from front to back. And I want to see a bit more from my team. Let's get the panel on now to have their say. Hit the like and share button. Let's go. Gentlemen, afternoon, 0-0. A few controversial moments as well. I'm gonna go to KJ first. What are you saying, mate?
The game is what it is. Obviously, first of all, never forget we always go win, lose, draw, Glazers out, Bunda Payings and that. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it going. But as a game as a whole, I don't know. For me, I'm not too vexed by the result. The performance was okay. There was times that we could have done just a bit better in the final third, and we could have made more opportunities. Definitely. If I was watching it in Power League, it would look like the same thing. That's basically looked like a five-a-side Power League like summer session, really, and that's all I can say. To be fair, Greenwood didn't have his best game. I've seen better from him. He needs to be better in his decision making and releasing the ball earlier. And then, damn James, man. That's all I really want to say about it. That's all I really want to say.
I hear you on that. How about yourself, Jonny? How about yourself? You look fed up.
Fucking sick of this shit football. I'm just fucking sick of it. I don't know if it's because we're top four secure and Ollie's not going for it. Just fucking fed up. It's all about Glaze out a minute. So this is my only moment of time now to talk about Ollie because I've not been talking about him really all week. I'm back. The Glaze minute.
He's been dying.
KJ, right? So listen, I just don't want him here next year. I don't want him here. I just can't get on board with this football. He's in game management. Even fucking excuse my language. Daniel said tweeted me, says they'll bring Pogba on between 73 and 78th minute or something. You only were right. That's how predictable he is. I'm like, what? You could see first half it weren't working. Yeah, Leeds did not set up like they did not come at us like they did last time. Yeah, so this Dan James idea was failed immediately. Okay, Ollie, fair enough. Let's get to half time. Change it. No. Stays on for 75 minutes. I'm McTominay. Why is he not seeing the things that we're seeing and not reacting? Why? And like, do you know, people say, oh, top four secure, it's not a big game. I want to beat City. I want to beat Liverpool. And I want to beat Leeds. Rivalry. I want to beat these teams. I'm not accepting a draw. I'm just fed up with him. I just want him out.
I do hear you on that. I really do. Neeks, how about yourself, mate? Is this a case of us overreacting because the league's essentially done for us and we're saving ourselves for the Europa? Or do you understand where Johnny's coming from? We should expect better in these big games.
I don't agree with OleOut. I mean, I stand on that. But no, I think I want to win this game, especially Leeds, Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal. Those are the games that I always want to win because of the different rivalries, different history that we have with these clubs. So I don't want to give Leeds nothing. I didn't want to give them anything. When I saw the reaction after we beat them 6-2 in the first game, I wanted that again. So even if it was a last minute, 90th minute, that would have killed them anyway. So I'm disappointed in that respect. But I'm not going to overreact in the sense of the broader picture of the season. I don't accept that we got a game on Thursday, so that I should be on that. They've had over a week of rest. There's no excuse for the performance that they put out there today. And there's also no excuse for the decisions in terms of substitutions or tactical that Solskjaer made. The 11 that he put out there, I don't have an issue with. I understand why he went there. It makes sense. But when you see things are not working or you need to change something, do it earlier. If we were 1-0 down at halftime, for example, he would have made a sub or two at halftime. But because it's 0-0 and it's a case of we can nick a win. If we don't, it's not we know that there's no if we don't. Man United, we should be going for the win all the time. So Pogba should have come in earlier. I understand why he didn't start. Cavani should have come in earlier. I understand why he didn't start. Van der Beek, what's the point in bringing him in that time? You might as well leave him on the bench. Like, that's the only issue I have with this game in terms of Solskjaer, the substitutions. But in terms of the players, they lacked. They lacked, and they didn't make any sense because they had a week off and they had less energy in this game than over the period when they were playing 2 games a week. It made no sense today. I wanted to beat Leeds.
I agree with you. Danny, how about yourself, mate? I mean, where do you stand on this level of performance at this point of the season? We saw Chelsea fans yesterday say they don't care about the performance. They just want the 3 points. Today, we had opportunities to win it. We didn't take them. Give me your thoughts, mate.
Well, look, as a United fan, I always want us to play entertaining football and try to win the game. Doesn't matter what stage of the season it is. Look, let's keep it real. It's 2 teams who've got nothing to play for. That's what you saw today. 2 teams who've got nothing to play for. I agree with Neeks and Jonny. Like, it became very, very apparent in the first 45 minutes. Leeds ain't coming at us. So the game plan, whatever we prepared for, we needed to make adjustments. Ollie didn't make those adjustments. Like Jonny said, I predicted we'd make a substitution between 68 and 73 minutes because that's what Ollie, he seems to have this philosophical belief that you make a substitution with 20 minutes to go. You should have made the substitutions earlier because when you only have 1 creative player or 2 or even 3 at a stretch in Bruno, Shaw and Rashford, it's not enough against a team that's not coming out against you. See, I was just disappointed with the performance. Like, salute to the person, by the way, who put money on 0-0 because you would have got good odds for that. Like, nobody would have predicted it. This would be a 0-0 game. So, yeah, it's just disappointing. I feel a bit deflated because I was expecting more. I watch Leeds. Leeds have been live on Sky Sports quite a lot this season because it's usually good value, but no value today. Dead game. Garbage game, actually.
I've got Adam waiting backstage. We're going to bring on in just a few minutes. We've got a super chat here from Red United who says, question, guys, can anyone tell me how you are a United coach, warm up Pogba and Cavani at the 60th minute mark and then put them in at 75 minutes and 80 minutes? I know it's all about the Glazers out, but come on, man. We should put pressure on City at least.
In terms of when
I saw them warming up, I thought they were coming on at 60. Yeah. I was getting happy.
You know, in terms of like the actual times they came on, I wanted them earlier, but there's one point where I swear Pogba and Cavani both had to wait like 3 minutes for the ball to go out. So there is that. But other than that, yeah, man, it was way too late. You already could see that things weren't going the way that we needed them to. And Ollie, you're better than that. Well, you should be better than that. You're Man United manager. You should be better.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for that super chat. We all agree that substitutions should have come earlier. You didn't really give Pogba and Cavani enough time to even warm into the game, let alone Donny van der Beek, who was given like
that was a
3 or 4 minutes.
Stoppage time.
It made no sense at all. Adam, give me your thoughts on the game, please, mate.
Yeah, just jumping in there, just catching what you guys were the back end of what you guys were all saying there. I think it pretty much I'm on the same level, really. It was a game that Bielsa just went out not to lose for me. And tactically, if that was his plan, he absolutely nailed it because we couldn't get through them. You could see the fitness in Leeds. Every time we looked like we were trying to break, they were back in numbers every single time. And we all know we struggle against the low block. So I think tactically, Bielsa didn't want to get caught out again. And that's what it looked like. I do agree. They were never going to push too many men forward. It looks like they were happy to settle for the draw, and it was down to us to then break it down, and we just didn't have a reaction. A bit disappointed because we've had a full week off. Our first full week off we've had God knows how long. They expected us to have a little bit more. We had a full squad to pick from, and we could all see Dan James and Rashford both struggling in that second half. They both needed to be brought off, in my opinion. We just waited too long to change it up. I mean, 30 minutes to go, Cavani and Pogba could have had more impact on that game, a bit more creativity. Cavani finding the space, which he did do for us for one little move at the end there. He found some space in the box, which no one else did. We just didn't manage to get a shot off from it like we didn't do all the way through the game. But Cavani did find that space. You can just imagine, and you're thinking, what if Cavani had a bit more time? What if Pogba had a bit more time? And then even Donny van der Beek, I mean, the token gesture again at the end. All in all, guys, I think this is just leading straight into the laps of the OleOuters again, because they're all going to come in on this now. I think they've been waiting for a game like this to come. And you know what? He's not really helped himself today. All in all, breaking it down, I do agree. It looks like 2 teams that are probably not going to move position-wise now until the end of the season. Bigger games for United to come in the week against Roma. That's a massive game, especially for Ollie himself. Was he looking at that? I mean, we're used to playing 2 games a week, and to have a week off and then really not threaten the goalkeeper all game, it was a bit of a disappointing one for me. And you know what? I'm an old school fan, as you guys know, and it's Leeds against United.
Yeah.
I expected more from Leeds, to be honest. I was disappointed in them as much as I was United because they didn't lay a glove on us. But in the end, they're not really bothered, are they? They're settled. They're happy with where they are.
You know what I'll say? I don't know, because even in terms of Leeds, of course, Leeds Man United history. Leeds are just come up from the Championship. Like they've drawn at home to Man United, Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea.
I know that, but
maybe
it's
Liverpool.
like you said that there.
What I was going to say is at different stages of the season, people have praised and on the next hand criticized Leeds for being so gung ho. So Bielsa, as a manager, has results are the prerequisite for them. So getting a draw with Man United, they'll take it more than getting battered 6-2 and playing entertaining football.
He will though, but he's one of them managers who's played his style of football all the way through the season, not been bothered about any critique all the way through, and he's just gone with it and that's what's got them where they are in the league. So we're to change it now. I think he's looking at that ahead of next season. I think he's trying to learn himself, Bielsa. He's trying to change, and this is the right time to do it. So in fairness to it, argue with it, like you said, I agree on that side. He sort of just said, look, I can actually get the point.
Sorry, stop. No, I agree. I think Leeds have become so much harder to break down in recent weeks. You know, their game against Chelsea showed everybody that. Liverpool and even Man City when they beat them, they've been harder to break down and harder to score goals against. So I think any Man United fan who felt that we were going to score 3 or 4 goals in the first half again just hasn't been watching football. But there was a controversial decision that went Manchester United's way. There was the supposed handball that we can all see here. A lot of Leeds United fans said it was. I know Danny, who's here with us, said that it was a handball. Danny, explain to us why you think Leeds should have had a penalty here.
Well, look, first things first, credit to Luke Shaw. He gamed the system. I haven't read the rules, Terrace, so you can correct me if I'm wrong. But if it has to be, if the arm has to be in an unnatural position for it to be a penalty, fine, it's not. But for me, it still is because Luke Shaw's just very, very clever. He keeps his arm in a natural position, sees the flight of the ball, albeit very quickly, and he intelligently puts his body in the right place, so his arm is in the path of the ball. Like, he knew exactly what he was doing, and he got away with it. But again, unless there's any supplementary language beyond unnatural position, fine, it's not a penalty. But for me, I look at that, 33 years old, growing up watching football. Like, if that's against us, that's a penalty.
The only thing is, Danny, if you look carefully, it's hard because the referee didn't give it. The question is, where did it strike him? And they got this handball rule that anything from the shirt sleeve up.
Neeks, I'm sorry. No. I have to interrupt you because we've both spoken about this. They're trying to measure lines and tell us what
Danny, the point is the referee didn't give it. And if you look at the picture, can you say categorically that it hit him below the sleeve of the arm, the sleeve of the shirt? I don't know if you can.
For me, I think it clearly does.
On that picture, but saying that, ribs.
But saying that though, Neeks, we see them trying to draw lines to tell us where the shoulder starts from, which they can't do, and they give decisions for that. So for me, I don't think that really matters.
To be fair, I actually thought they was going to give it as soon as it went to VAR because their man love giving out these foolishness. Again, for me, it's one of those ones where like, what do you want players to do now? Have no arms? Danny says he strategically moved his body and his arm, blah blah blah. But again, where else could his arm have went in this situation? You can't help having arms. He wasn't trying to play the ball with his arms and his hands. So that's the only place he could go.
Danny. You know what he did, KJ? He let the ball hit his arm, which is smart because according to the rules, that's fine.
But how's that handball then? Because literally,
it should be a handball, but the rules are stupid.
So I think what helped him, what helped Luke Shaw when I saw it was the other angle, which we don't have. There was no body movement towards it in real time. Mm-hmm. You see it hit his arm and then his shoulder goes down. But when you slow it down, you see that it hits him and then his body moves. So he may have done what Danny said. He may have just left himself there. But you'll know the position now that all defenders have with their arms when balls get swung into the box. If they're down by your side, it doesn't get given as a penalty. So for me, I understand where you're coming from, Danny, but with all the handballs I've seen given in recent times, I would have been shocked if it was given. If he'd have done what Emre Can did in the Champions League a few days ago, where he clearly moved his body towards it, I then think it would have been harsh. I think it's one of those penalties where if you get them, you're kind of like silently celebrating, going, yes.
I think we can all agree it's not clear cut, is it?
It's not clear.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But to be fair to Luke Shaw, what this shows is players are getting smart. Because you know what happened last season or the season before that? We see it where players know the ball's going to hit their arm, and this is before they are natural ball, and they try to move their arm out of the way, right? Players been doing that for years, but Luke Shaw knew, no, I'm just going to keep my arm here. It's in a natural position. If it hits it, it's not a pen. And he was right. Ref didn't give a pen. And the ref could have given it. He went over, so he had license to give it, and he didn't. So
I hear that.
If we lost the game on a penalty, they didn't do enough in game to win the game anyway. Let's be honest. They weren't good for 3 points.
No, they didn't do enough. Adam, from your point of view, would you have felt hard done by if this was given?
Yeah, I've seen them give him this season, but it's like the boys were saying. Yeah, the rules have been changed mid-season already with this penalty rule and the handball side of it. It just gets confusing. And as soon as they heard that it was Mike Dean in the VAR, I'm with KJ there. I'm thinking, oh, here we go, it's a penalty. I'm thinking Mike Dean time, but it's like I said. I think they're confusing themselves with the rules now. This clear, like Jonny said, the clear and obvious error. The ref's not going to be able to give that one. To be honest, I don't think. Without VAR, it's not a penalty. With VAR, it's a 50-50, isn't it? That's what it is at the end of the day. It's not clear cut for me, but we've seen them given as well. So if it was given, I wouldn't have been surprised. I really wouldn't. Yeah. That's how much it is right now.
No, I agree. Viewers, we want your opinions on this. Let us know right now whether you think it was a penalty or not.
Terry, can I just say 2 things? I think what I kind of enjoyed today, probably the only 2 things. Wan-Bissaka's performance, I think he played well, both defensively and going forward. Danny, look at the screen. Look at the screen when I praise Wan-Bissaka. Look at the screen when I praise.
It's hard. It's hard, today. Yo, Jonny had you praising Fred today on Twitter.
There's a part where he was on the right-hand side, like in attacking third. And he did like this little, it's robotic anyway, but he did this turn, and then went in between 2 Leeds players. I think he got a crossing as well. I'm like,
see the one where he was on the right side again,
and he fell over.
Turned out, he fell over, and still kept the ball.
Come on, he confused the defender with the ball. I saw that.
Only he could do that. Only Aaron.
No, it would. He could. Wan-Bissaka tackles himself to get past a man. That's how he does it.
Since we're going to be all happy, we're going to be like.
His best attribute. Say that again, Danny.
Do you know what I liked about Aaron Wan-Bissaka today? He was doing some training today, testing the player's first touch. Like, try and control this. The amount of times. Did you see that ball he clipped into Cavani at the end?
Yeah.
Fired it into his face.
Him and Maguire was doing it as well. And Maguire was killing man with these lofted balls that he was doing. It's like, bro, why are you doing that?
We call them suicide balls, don't we? That's what they are.
And the second one was Mason Greenwood. I think as a striker today, and especially against the man-to-man marking, the way that Leeds were on all our players, but him specifically playing with back to goal.
He played better in the second half.
I think he played well because I don't think KJ said he didn't really enjoy his performance, if I'm correct.
No, it wasn't his greatest performance. He did
KJ's right for me. You observe Neeks.
I think all of his attacking players, he varied his game. He came deep. He got the ball. He went out wide. He stood a man up. And then at times he tried to run in behind. For if I compare to all his previous games where he's tried to play through the middle, I think this is one of his better ones.
That's not Rashford.
That's fair, but I do agree with KJ's point. The hold-up play was good, but beyond that, we saw the opportunities to release the ball he wasn't taking, and he was holding the ball too long. That's the only asterisk I'll put on that. But I agree with you. The general hold-up play was very tidy.
You know, I think the only thing that disappointed me with Greenwood today, there was a few times he fell over in the box. There was a good bit of play where Bruno that was in the box cut it back to him. If that touch on his left foot, just not even world class. If that touch is just good, he gets a shot from 9 yards out.
But Terry, beyond that, proper strikers attack space there. They don't settle for a cutback. Leeds' defense weren't deep enough.
I just don't know.
That's what frustrated me.
What we don't have with any of our young attackers is none of them are predatory like a number 9. Like Cavani has that. None of them have it within them, and that's why I think we're still going to have to look at signing one, because everyone who's top class with it does it from day one. Michael Owen didn't learn to do it. Alan Shearer didn't learn to do it. They get better, but it's a predatory thing. It's knowing what to do and where to be.
It's a natural instinct. That's what
they don't have it. And I think they have so many other attributes that we've got to look forward to. That isn't something that they are great at. Yes, Cage.
Since we're highlighting football players, our players today and their performances, Bruno Fernandes. What do you guys?
You're stealing my thunder here. We've got a schedule here. We're going to skip
Okay.
this. I'm going to bring the pictures up. We're going to do this. That was the last. There's the next segment, and I'm glad you brought it up. I've got a super chat first. It says Ollie is Jose Mourinho 2.0. The only difference is Ollie can attack and defend with 10 players. Dirty football, but effective. Is it sustainable? Let me ask you a question about sustainability. Well, let me ask you. This is the question about sustainability. What does sustainability mean, Jonny?
I mean, I would have expected. I mean, I'm shocked that we're second, and we've got the results that we've got this season based on the football that we've been playing now, we've been setting up. So by that, you would have to say, I mean, so far it's been sustainable. Now, is it sustainable enough to take us to a trophy or a title? In my opinion, no. But I guess time will tell.
I tell you, Jonny, how this is sustainable is under the Glazers, mate. That's how this is sustainable.
Do you know what I'd add to that? It's only sustainable if we have better central midfielders than Fred and McTominay. Because you talk about player performances today. McTominay tripping over the ball, running into people, sideways. Just the quality in central midfield is not Manchester United quality for me.
No,
I said to Danny during the game, I tweeted him. I said, if it was up to me and someone had the power, I'd sell McTominay and Fred, and I'd upgrade both of them.
I agree.
Do you know what's interesting though? I'm going to get technical. Sustainable or sustainability it means the ability to maintain a certain rate or level. So the rate or level we're at, where we are now, we've been at for over 13, 14 months now. That's a categoric fact, whether people like it or not, whether you enjoy it or not. So Ollie's current way of playing is sustainable. He's proven that. But you're right, Jonny. It isn't about whether it's sustainable, like people keep accusing. It's whether or not it's going to be good enough to keep, whether we can go to the next level now, challenge for the major titles. So this whole, is it sustainable? Yes, because it's been proven as sustainable. You're not undefeated 24 away games on the bounce in the Premier League with no sustainability. But the level we're at isn't the level that we want to be at. It's now, can we maintain it at the level? So again, what I find with so many of these questions, and I'm not trying to disrespect the chatter, is so many of these questions are key stage 1 level football analysis. It's sustainable, because you've got to just Google the word sustainable and what it means. That's where we are. We're talking about going to that next level. And most of us agree that we don't think Ollie is the individual to do that. But viewers, we of course want your views. We want your opinions on that. Another super chat here says Daniel James was trash. Should never play again. Ollie at fault for playing him for 75 minutes. I'm mad over James. Yeah, would you like to have seen that, KJ? I'm mad given 20 minutes today to see what he can do.
Yeah, but was he even on the bench? Because he played for the under 23s.
Yeah, I didn't see him on the bench.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see him on the bench.
He scored in that game.
On the bench? We wouldn't have seen him. But can you understand why Dan James is playing over Ahmad even now?
I can understand it. He's got more English experience, more pedigree in the Premier League. So in that sense, like Ahmad's just come over from Italy. He's getting used to the league and that. But the quality, you can see the quality that's there already. Like when he comes and plays for Man United, you can see the little touches, the little turns, the awareness that he's going to do, and that trumps all of the experience Dan James has got, in my opinion.
He's more talented.
He's more talented. He's more talented.
Well, he's a more talented player.
Yeah, Ahmad is a more talented. Ahmad is just a better player than Dan James, and because he's small and quaint and he looks slight.
So why won't Ollie take a risk? Why won't he take a risk and give him 15 minutes?
Do you know what, KJ? You said one thing that I disagree with. We need to remember, but Ahmad, I think, played maybe 4 games for Atalanta. Not even that.
I want to say one game. One game.
So we don't even know. So he's not. We don't know for sure he's ready for top flight football just yet. Like we don't know that. We can't say that.
Yeah, and that's why I say understand it.
But just my nature as a Man United fan, I want to see my manager take risk and play the more talented player over a player you were forced to buy because we paid 80 million cash up front for Maguire.
And based on the evidence,
and you know what you're going to get from Dan James.
Based on the evidence this season, has any of you here got any confidence that next year we're going to see more Van der Beek, more Ahmad, more risk-averse decisions? More risky decisions?
We'll see more Van der Beek.
If Paul Pogba stays, we're not going to see no more. I don't even know why Ollie said. I understand what the position he was put in, and he wanted an extra body. But unless you're saying to Ed Woodward or whoever it is that's in charge this summer, we need a defensive midfielder, then Why did you get him? He's not going to play ahead of Bruno. He's not going to play ahead of Paul Pogba. I don't think anybody's advocating for that. We just want to see him more. But unless you're going to get in a defensive midfielder, which quite frankly suits all of our midfielders to have in the team. Like, Fred and McTominay would be better with a defensive midfielder. Paul Pogba, like, Bruno, Van der Beek, all be better with that player.
So you still want to have a double pivot next year?
No, with a defensive midfielder. Whether it's a double pivot or single pivot, we need a actual defensive midfielder, somebody with that level of positioning and instincts. But we don't. That's why I just don't see the point of, like, why do we have him?
Yeah. On that talking point, Bruno Fernandes. Last 14 games, no goals from open play, just 2 goals created. Of course, he's created chances within those football matches. He's, in terms of what he's been most potent with in relation to Manchester United since he arrived, was scoring goals, was creating. But as I say, just 4 goal contributions in these last 14 games. The irony in that, and I did do the statistical analysis before the game, his pass completion rate is improved on average by 12% per game, and he's losing the ball on average 7 times less per match. But the goals and the assists have dried up, which I just found it ironic. I nearly cried with laughter.
That's what they wanted.
I know what they're going to do here. I see the remix coming. Okay.
I saw it.
I can see what's coming here. I know I'm going to get daggers in a minute.
No, it's not you. Terry has a narrative.
Put your knives away.
Guys, stop. I've got no narrative. I'm just pointing out the cold, hard facts. He's scored less goals and assists when he's been better with the ball. It's maybe, it's getting to him. Maybe the criticism, maybe
it's the forwards, Terry, that's not finishing the dinner. And not
maybe, but that isn't my point here. My point is he isn't scoring and creating goals. Should he be given some time on the bench? Should Jonny be given an opportunity? Should someone else be given the chance to come in?
No.
What are you saying?
Next question.
No,
wait.
It's exactly what people wanted, Terry, like you said. It's exactly what everyone wanted. And he said this as well, didn't he, at the start? What did he come out and say, Bruno? He says, it's all good now, but wait until you all don't like what I'm doing and you all come in and hate. He actually said this himself, Bruno. He predicted that fans would turn on him because he's seen it before, hasn't he? He knows what it's about. He knows what his game is about. And he knew that if he was going to continue taking risks, ultimately people would pick up on it and expect more. But it's perfect that this has happened because it's what everyone wanted. So when these Bruno haters come out and actually say, look, he's not producing the goals anymore, what are you going to say now? Well, we're just going to come back and say, look, well, this is what everyone wanted him. Everyone wanted him to be a bit more precise. They wanted the statos wanted all the stats to be bang up there. This is what we've been playing like under Van Gaal, under Jose Mourinho. We've had no risk takers in the team. And again today, no one was taking any risks. And what happens? We get another 0-0. This is what happens every time you play this perfect percentage football. That does not work. It does not work. You need that. You need the bit of difference in there. You need someone with something else about him. And yeah, there are games where I think he could have been benched because we've got Donny van der Beek there. We've got other players. Pogba can play there as well. Sometimes he doesn't have to play every game. And Ollie hasn't helped him, I don't think, in that case. I don't think. There are certain games where I've gone, Bruno, seriously, mate, what are you doing? And then he's won us the game. And I'm Bruno's biggest fan. But I'd rather him be playing risky football than playing the way he played today. It's just how I like my football being played. It's my opinion, but I do believe that with the right combination, and it's going back to the midfield again, if you get the right holding midfielder in there and build the team right, and the link up from defence to attack is a lot more simpler and easier to play. When you've got McTominay and Fred there, you're going to have to take risks because they're not going to give you anything. And in the end of the day, when it's getting down to 0-0 and everyone's mauling it, it's getting a bit more pressured, he's going to start taking more risks. And this is his game. This is what he does. So for me, I don't think he's been helped. And I'd just take the old Bruno back me. I'd prefer him making mistakes and taking risks because that's how we've got to where we've got this season. This is what we've got.
I agree. How about yourself, Jonny? You did say on here a few weeks ago you'd rather him lose the ball less.
I did, but I mean, I was not anticipating. I was predicting that if we controlled the ball better and didn't lose it as much, we'd play more conducive football and score more and create more good chances and goals. That's clearly not happened. But as a manager, when you're looking at Bruno now, if I'm all in, I'm saying, so he's not scored an open goal play. Was it 14 games, Terry?
14 games, no open
play. So if he's not scored an open play goal in 14 games, I'm going to say to Bruno, either go back to what you were doing, regardless of what the fans think, or take a I don't want to say a risk, but give Van der Beek a run of games. Let's see what he can do. I just want to see, because we've only had snippets of Van der Beek, yeah. I want to see what Van der Beek is like after 10 games, like 10, 90 minute or 80, 90 minute performances. Do you know what I mean? That's what I want to see.
I guarantee you what you would see. The stats that you got Bruno with right now, that's exactly what Van der Beek would have. Van der Beek is an excellent football player. I love him. He's a great player. But in this system, he does not suit it. So what you're seeing from Bruno now, the high ball retention, the high pass completion, Donny will get that.
Why do we buy him then?
Exactly. And that is where the issue lies. If we don't have a backup for Bruno Fernandes who can do what he can do in a different way, then why are certain players here? This all leads back to those pagans and that wallet.
That £40 million on Van der Beek could have gone and got a Sancho.
Oh, Johnny, it's deeper than that. The £40 million on Van der Beek and the £18 million we paid guaranteed for Ahmad could have went on a defensive midfielder or maybe Declan Rice if he's valued at 60 million.
Yeah.
Thank God
like, this is what again, why this game to me, as much as it was, you can say it was boring, you can say should have won, it's Leeds, blah, blah, blah. It don't matter because these wallads and these pagans are still here. And we have to bring it full circles. Because when you deep dive into our team and our manager and why there are certain issues in the whole team, the root cause always goes back to them. Why can't we play fluid football? It's because our midfield is crap. Why does the midfield crap? Because we play McTominay and Fred. Why do you have to play McTominay and Fred? Because we haven't got X, Y, Z players that we should have.
So, guys, I love listening to this. The final's about to start, so the stream is going to come to a close very, very soon. But I want to end it by saying this. I already knew this before we started talking. I wanted to gauge the viewers' opinions, everybody else's. I'm hearing a lot of calls for Bruno to be dropped because the performances have, from him, he hasn't scored, he hasn't got the assists. But the pass completion is up, that's what they asked for. Ball retention is increased, that's what they asked for.
I asked for that, I'll be honest. I did.
He's equally, in that time, created more chances per game than prior to the lack of goals and actual assists. So he's actually creating 0.2 more chances per game than prior to that. And Man United's clean sheets and win ratio has also improved in that 14-game period. But they're calling for Bruno's head because he isn't scoring and assisting the goals. If
that's true, then we just need a better striker, don't we?
But to be fair, you said that before, Johnny. The strikers aren't finishing their dinner.
Yeah, so I get that. But my point is the focus on Bruno is when he's scoring and assisting, they focus on losing the ball too much. When he isn't losing the ball too much, when he improves as a team, they still want Bruno out because he isn't scoring or assisting in the same way. It proves I don't have a narrative. I don't have an agenda. I deal in cold, hard facts. And that's what's going on right now. And I did the research before the game to see what would happen. It was going to be a talking point. Him not scoring or assisting made it an interesting talking point. But we've become better as a team. With the win ratio. We didn't manage to win the 6th game on the bounce today, but we're unbeaten. As an example, we're through to a semi-final of the Cup comp. And ironically, the one game that he didn't start in is the one game where we got knocked out of the FA Cup. So it's what do you want from Bruno? Do you want him to be goals and all the assists, taking more risks, and sometimes the football looks a little bit less messy? Or do you want the lesser risk taker, but the better overall team performances, but get off his back for not being a high-rate goal scorer and assist?
Can I make a prediction here?
Maybe you can't have it both ways.
Can I make a prediction here? Because I had this conversation with Indiana and Devil's Avocado. What people miss, Bruno's got another level to go to. And I'm telling you, he's going to reach it next season and definitely the season after that. Because what you've seen from Bruno is better game management. And when he gets that balance between game management and the risk, perfect. And I'm predicting he will. Trust me when I tell you, Bruno's got another level to go. And all these people will be shut down completely.
100% agree.
I think Terry, sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, I agree with the another level element. But I think it's also something to play for. In the Premier League, I will say this, in the last 3 or 4 games, although we as fans are worried we're going to fall out the top 4, I don't actually think there's any risk. It's almost become on the beach football now. Let's see what he does in these 2 games now. By the way, it's amazing to see fans back on football. I'm just looking at it now on the screen. I was watching UFC last night, actually hearing real humans cheer things.
Yeah.
And what a night that was. If you don't,
it looks good. That does look good.
Proper sport for proper people.
Terry, I was going to say, I think, I'll tell you what a big takeaway from this whole week is. Bring back the Super League, innit? Because football was better before it.
I hear you on that. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. We're back live for a full fan phone-in after the Carabao Cup final. We'll take some calls on Manchester United then as well. But until then, take care. Goodbye.
Guys.